Welcome back to the Human Algorithm podcast, where we go beyond buzzwords to uncover the real stories shaping business, technology, leadership, and what it means to be human today. On today's episode, we have someone whose journey deeply moved me because it reminds us that authentic leadership doesn't just start in boardrooms or strategy decks. It starts with heartbreak, it starts with profound reinvention. So Sharad Lal is the co-founder of the How to Live company, a C-suite coach, a keynote speaker, and the host of the How to Live podcast, which is recorded here as well in Podster, and which is also one of the top 3% of podcasts globally. So he advised world-class companies like Google, MasterCard, and Unilever. But beyond all the accolades lies a story few may know. A decade ago, Sharad experienced an unimaginable loss, losing his newborn twins and his wife during childbirth. And rather than allowing this tragedy to destroy him, he chose to rebuild. He chose to live differently. And he chose to dedicate his life to helping others find meaning, purpose, and more resounding success, not just externally, but within. So Sharad, welcome to the podcast. And before we dive in, I would always like to start with something light because it's going to be quite heavy, right? What's one thing that most people don't know about you that you wish they did?
Most people think I've never had hair in my head. But I did. I did have hair. I've lost it in my 20s. I started losing hair early, so that's why I've been like this for now over 25 years.
Okay. First question, when life brought you to that point of unimaginable grief, right? Where do you find that first tiny thread of hope? Or was it a long, silent stretch before hope returned at all?
I think it was a long, silent stretch and it was overwhelming. So I also, right now, when I think about it, I have very little memory of what I was doing. But I think there are small things that sometimes move you forward. One of the things was I was kind of blaming myself, like I must have done something wrong so that a bad thing happens to me. And then someone gave me this book, Why Bad Things Happen to Good People. I don't know if you read it. It's written by a rabbi. It's a very beautiful book, and he goes over, he also lost his son at the age of, the son was 14 years old, and that was very sad for him. He was trying to make sense of it. And he kind of goes over the universe, like how it's so complex that no one can be looking at you to try and harm you if you've done something bad.
Yeah.
The key conclusion was that if you go down the rabbit hole of asking, why did this happen, and start looking at reasons and blaming yourself, that leads you around nowhere. Like you just keep going on and it doesn't really bring you something.
Yeah.
But if you shift the perspective on, all right, this has happened, we don't know why, but what can I do from here? I think that starts moving the thought forward on what's the kind of meaning I can bring to this, because I have a choice on what I can do here. Yeah. So I think that opened me up from a thinking standpoint to try and make sense of this. Versus thinking why, it became what, which became empowering. So this was one of the things I remember.
Yeah. And you said before that the tragedy profoundly shifted your trajectory.
Yeah.
In what ways did your definition of success, leadership, and living well transform after that loss?
Yeah. So I think before this, I was extremely achievement-oriented, trophies, doing well, money, status, all those kind of things. And as this happened, as I was trying to get myself together, I first thought all those things are really bad. Money is bad, status is bad. Yeah. And I started moving to, hey, what's deeper in life? What is more meaningful in life? And started looking at those things. And success became more towards fulfillment. With time, as I've started getting my thoughts better, I think it's not that achievement is bad or fulfillment is good. I think it's looking at a combination of both, because it's good to have that ambition and that achievement mindset. But if you get lost in that, you might be successful, but you may not be deeply happy and fulfilled. But if you can have meaningful achievements, fulfillment and achievement, success and purpose, I feel that's a good way to think about life.
Yeah. How do you navigate the tension between honoring your grief and still showing up in the world where, society often rushes us to move on far too quickly?
So I think there are